Hey, Mark here, the founder of NetPicks. How would you like to be able to generate passive income without constant portfolio babysitting? And how you can actually implement this week and stay hands off and only take just a few minutes per month to manage your passive income portfolio. This is something I had to do for myself. I currently manage a seven-figure portfolio 100% passively. And I've shown people how to do this starting out with really minimal capital. It can be a few $100s, a few $1,000s, all the way up to people with five, six, and seven-figure portfolios. It's something I really had to get involved in because most types of investing and creation of income turns into a lot of work. And that's why most passive income plans tend to fail, because it's either too hard to get started or it just becomes active investing. This is something that I pursued for myself and realized there is tremendous opportunity out there if you know how to do it. And that's what I want to introduce to you in this short video. It's really a simple operating system that once started creates passive income truly, for the most part, hands off. And if you're okay with spending 5 to 10 minutes a month on your passive income portfolio, this can really truly be perfect for you. Now, most of us, when we're investing, even if we think we're investing passively, it ends up being true babysitting, right? You're constantly worried about, did I get in at the right time? When should I exit? What do I do with my cash flow? Should I reinvest it? Should I compound it? Do I need to take it out? What if the market tanks? What if the real estate market tanks? What if the stock market tanks? What if the business I'm investing in doesn't do well? What if the economy changes? And for most people, it turns into a part-time and sometimes even a full-time job. And when you have all of those questions, you know what truly happens? You end up with decision fatigue. You start to overcheck and overreact. It just becomes so tiring, and it certainly does not fit in what we consider passive income investing. You really need to have a simple operating system to do this correctly, and we want to make it as hands-off as possible. Look, everything requires some setup and some time. In the beginning, when you set up your passive income system, it'll take a little bit of time. But if you can give it an hour or less, you truly can get a passive income stream set up. You choose one stream of income, you allocate a starter amount of capital, set up the automation, and set a monthly reminder to check in on that cash flow stream. Step one, you got to choose your income stream. You got to choose, where are you going to create this cash flow? I want that cash flow generated weekly, monthly, or at most quarterly. There's even times where I can generate cash flow weekly. And there's really three main buckets that I focus on. One is the stock market. I can generate cash flow from the stock market. Two is from real estate. And three is kind of what I call my stability bucket. That's where I can actually generate income from a variety of different investments, but also protect against the downside. The second step is you really just want to allocate what we say is a starter amount. The great thing about this is there typically are very few minimums, and if there are minimums, they tend to be very low. So you can start small and let that grow over time. Let it prove itself, let you gain a little bit of experience and confidence, and then you add to your passive income and start to add additional income streams. Number three is you want to automate it. What I don't want to do is spend every single day looking over the shoulder of these investments. It's too stressful. What I like to do is have everything set up automated for me. The fourth step is simple. You want to be aware of where your investments are. So we log it. The good news is, I'll share with you in a moment, there are ways that I can automate even this whole process as well. And then the fifth thing is the management side. This is passive investing, meaning you're not going to actively do any of the investing. Even when we're involved in the stock market, and even when income is being created, let's say from options, we're never personally trading those options. Those are being done for us. So even that part is automated. But I do want to check in once a month just to monitor my overall performance. One of the biggest questions that you'll end up answering for yourself, you'll need to, is when that cash flow is distributed, do you pay yourself? Do you compound it? Or maybe you do a bit of a hybrid and you take half an income and you reinvest the other half. We want to make sure that we know what we're going to do with the payouts. And none of this has to take a lot of time. I just want to give it a few minutes per month. That's all I personally give it to manage a pretty sizable portfolio. I can tell you I never look at it day to day, or even most of the times, even week to week. What I want to ignore is daily price movements. I want to ignore the headlines. I want to ignore all the hot tips that come down, the constant checking. We want to get rid of all of that. So let's talk in a little bit more details about those three lanes of passive income. And let me give you some examples so you get a good idea of how this type of program can work potentially for you. The first one I say is company-linked cash flow. It comes down to two different ways. One of the most common, of course, is going to be large public companies that are available to trade with the stock market, but not just buying shares of Apple or Tesla or Google. There's nothing wrong with that type of investing, but you typically cannot create cash flow unless there's some sort of distribution that results from that investment. Now, you might be aware of dividend stocks, right? So dividend stocks are nice because you can get a payout. It does tend to be fairly low, right? It's typically low single digits, but it is a way to have an investment and also make some cash flow from those distributions. You can choose to take that as cash flow or you can reinvest it. And there's a place for that potentially in everybody's portfolio. The type of style that I want to do and show you takes advantage of options investing without you doing any of the options trading yourself. The second opportunity, which I won't go into detail in this short video, is to invest in smaller to mid-sized private companies that are generating cash flow. Do it 100% passively and own a small fraction of that company, just like you do when you buy a stock share. But let's cover the first opportunity, which will be the most familiar. So you know the stock of Tesla, right? TSLA. And this can be done on a number of different high-quality stocks, but I'm just going to use Tesla for an example. So there's a company called YieldMax. They trade using the symbol TSLY. You can trade this at any broker. And it's the YieldMax Tesla Option Income Strategy ETF. What this is doing is basically writing options and covered call options on Tesla in order to generate income. So you can both benefit from the upside of Tesla as well as generate regular income. Now, what's really cool about this is the distribution rates can be quite high because the options on high volatile stocks like Tesla, Google, and NVIDIA, etc., can generate quite a bit of options income. Right now, it's averaging about 46%. So technically, you can pay yourself if you are invested in this, and it will vary month to month, but it's been averaging about 46%. That is in addition to having some long exposure as well to Tesla. That's way beyond what you typically would see in a dividend-paying stock, which might be 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%. So you can see this potential for huge opportunity here. And before you think this is probably something that people don't really invest in, currently has over $1 billion in net assets. But there are some real big challenges because the cash flow, as you saw, is going to be excellent. Even if the market goes down, you'll still get that cash flow. The problem we tend to run into is this type of chart. For instance, this is a monthly chart of Tesla. And I can tell you, having invested in these for a long time, that when this market is here and it declines to here and it goes down 74%, which over this period, 2021 to 2023, Tesla did, no matter how good your cash flow is on that TSLY investment, you're still going to lose. You'll make the cash flow, but you want that underlying investment to also grow if you can. You want both pillars working for you. And even when smaller declines, this is almost a 50% decline, right? This was 2023 into 2024. How about this one? This was a 56% decline until recently we've moved to the upside. So the one thing we have to add to the mix is what I call passive market timing. For example, we knew that we could get back on board these cash flow producing covered call ETFs on Tesla back in July of 2024. And in fact, we've stayed in until when I'm recording this video. So we have been able to stay in the entire time generating cash flow, but also getting appreciation to the upside and not having to bounce in and out constantly on an active trade, right? This is over a year without having to touch that investment. And you can have long stretches of time, like here's 2020 all the way through to 2022, over 2 years, where we just kept either reinvesting or taking our cash flow. However, we really don't want to be in when the market is just going down, right? Even though you'll be getting cash flow, it's really just better to step aside and invest in something else. So you can see why I love this approach, but also some things you need to take into account, which is market timing. You have to be able to do it passively and 100% mechanically, which we can do with the approach that I take, which I'll be sharing with you at the end of this video. The second lane is real estate. Did you know that you can fractionally invest in rental real estate, commercial real estate, even whole ownership rental homes with no active involvement day to day? That means never having to get a phone call at 2 in the morning or 10 o'clock at night. You'll never unclog a toilet. You'll never have to collect rents. You can own properties fractionally and get the cash flow and the appreciation that comes with those. There are marketplaces like you see on this screen where you can actually make that investment within seconds. There's no reason you can't own a fraction of this house in New Mexico that's currently yielding about 21%. The problem with this type of investing, even when you have high yields, You'll notice here the share price is $30. These start when they initially are offered at $50. So while this one is paying cash flow, the problem with this investing is it can go down in value. If you bought this share at $50 and you had nice cash flow, that's great, but your underlying investment can go down in value. Now, the great news is it can go up in value. You can have this one here, a fraction of this house in Maryland, paying 23% yield right now, and the tokens now are at $60, meaning it's gone up 20% from where it started, plus it's paying a great yield. So the question is, how do you determine and buy this one and not this one? Or how do you invest low here where this one returns back to $50 or higher and your cash flow continues to grow? So yes, those are things that we need to figure out and to answer, but I think you would agree the ability to own fractions of a commercial strip center, of a data center, of a cloud-based data center, et cetera, where all the opportunity is amazing if it's completely hands-free. We just have to do it properly, right? We have to do it smartly so we put the odds in our favor that the cash flow will be good as well as the appreciation. The third thing a lot of people don't realize is that you can also get involved in investing where your downside is protected, literally up to 100%. Imagine making an investment in the market, even in the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ 100, and sheltering yourself against the first 10% loss, 15% loss, 20% loss, maybe even 100% of the loss. And all you give up is a little bit of the downside. Would you take that trade right now? I think most of you would say, yeah, I would take that trade. If I wouldn't have to worry about the initial 10, 20, 30% of the loss or maybe any of the loss, and all I have to do is give up a little bit of the upside, where do I sign up, right? There are ETFs, for instance, from PGIM that do exactly that. That will buffer you 12%, 20%, 100%, meaning if you take this one, the first 20% of losses, you'll be break even. You give up a little bit of upside when you do this, but imagine having some of your investing still taking advantage of upside, how much easier you're going to sleep at night at times, right? When you have this protection. The problem is there's a lot of choices. It can be overwhelming, right? You have to have a system to decide which one of these should I be investing in? How long will this protect me? What is my upside? What am I giving up on the downside? So those are questions we want to be able to answer. But really, all of this has become much easier in 2026. Everything I've shared with you, even though there are challenges and questions, you can truly set up in minutes. There's not a person listening who can't set up systems like this in under an hour. The real key is picking correctly and also managing it and going. But it's gotten a lot easier here in 2026. There's so much better software. There's AI tools. There's automation. I'll give you a couple examples. There's a company called Kubera, which you can load your entire portfolio into. And I'm talking your real estate, your passive investments, your crypto, everything, and track that. There's programs like Snowball Analytics. Think about a snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger and bigger and bigger with your passive income, but takes care of all of the tracking, all the performance tracking. So you know when the distributions are coming, what it looks like when you're reinvested, what the total returns look like. This is all available now. The promise I'm making to you is hands-off really means setting up the stream quickly, applying the payout rules, following a quick 5-minute routine, and then starting to add additional income streams over time. And keep that time commitment small, keep the cash flow coming, and really get out there and enjoy life like I've been able to do by setting up systems just like this. I want to offer you the full walkthrough of what I've shared in just a few minutes here today. I'm going to show you my personal passive income portfolio and how I do it without the portfolio babysitting, how I make the right choices with those 3 different income buckets, how I set up weekly, monthly, and quarterly cash flow for myself, how I can be traveling throughout the world and never have to manage or do anything that would be considered active investing. There's a link on the screen. I'm going to put it in the description below as well, and it's netpicks.com/passive streams. Go there. It's free to sign up for a live workshop that I'm doing on January 21st, and I'm just going to take you through what I shared today in more detail and show you how to get started quickly and start to set up your own cash flowing income streams, just like I've done for myself. It's free to sign up. I'm going to share with you what I know, what I've done, and just so you know, everything I share with you here today, as well as in the live workshop, has been battle tested by myself. I do this for myself. I'll share more details in the live workshop. This isn't about hype. This is not about get rich quick. This is about really setting yourself up for the future with a repeatable process, putting the odds in your favor, making smart investments, and then spending very little time managing it ongoing. So look forward to seeing you live. Remember, the link is on the screen. Go there now, put your name and your email in. We'll go ahead and get you signed up for the live workshop. In the meantime, if you have any questions about anything I shared, put that in the comments down below. I'll make sure that I reply to every comment. I'll be happy to answer those questions. And of course, I'll be answering personally any questions you have during the live workshop. So we will see you there. Take care.